Okay, good morning everyone. It's my pleasure today to introduce Murali Krishna Gumma. He's going to give us a seminar today on the capabilities of ICRISAT's remote sensing and GIS laboratory. Gumma has been in ICRISAT for about 18 months or so. He's a team member of the USGS Global Cropland Project. Prior to coming to ICRISAT, he was a remote sensing specialist and postdoctoral fellow at IRI, where he spent 3 years, and he also worked for IMI for some time as well. He has more than 15 years experience in remote sensing, particularly in South Asia and Southeast Asia, and his experience covers 16 countries, and he has an interest in Africa as well. He's going to describe today a number of the projects that the GIS lab is running with his colleagues from the GIS and Remote Sensing Lab. He has a PhD from here in Hyderabad, the Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad, and this was on the methods and approaches of irrigated area mapping using remote sensing techniques. And he's won a number of awards for his path-breaking work. So it's my pleasure. Murali, the time is yours, and afterwards we'll have 15 or so minutes to discuss some of the possibilities for remote sensing and GIS in ICRISAT. Thank you.
Good morning, all of you, and I would like to thank DG for giving me the great opportunity to explore the use of geospatial tools in ICRISAT. First of all, I joined recently 18 months back as a lead the GIS group to strengthen the capability geospatial across the institute. Now I will talk about our work, our ongoing activities, our outputs, how it will be useful for the research, ICRISAT research. Before I go to the presentation, I'll give the frequent words which I'm going to use in my presentation: remote sensing, NDVI, and multispectral data, and all about this. You all know about the remote sensing. This is capturing the information from the satellite imagery through sensors, and we are taking that data and we are processing those multispectral bands, and we are analyzing that. Ultimately, we are producing the land use land cover maps and also temporal changes across the. Yeah, this is our team in South Asia, Eastern Sub-Saharan Africa, and Western Central Asia, Africa, WCA. And today's presentation outline is mainly how the geospatial data can contribute to the ICRISAT research across all the themes like breeders, social scientists, and our one. Here mainly I'll talk on crop type mapping, crop intensity, and land use land cover changes over the period, and ultimately it contributes to the all CRPs as well. These are the main geospatial activities which is including crop type mapping, including crop intensity, land use changes over the period, and length of growing periods, abiotic stresses, and prioritization using the spatial modeling, and impact assessment. And also these outputs will be useful for the estimating the crop yield and predicting the crop yields also. And also our NRM technologies we are tracking out of throughout the across the areas. We are tracking how much area is impacting through NRM technologies. And to do this activity, there are several kinds of data sets, spatial data sets are available. Remote sensing satellite data sets are available, which are mainly, here you can see mode is at a 10 kilometers resolution to the up to less than 1 kilometer spatial data sets are available. But for our purpose, mainly we are using MODIS and Landsat, which are freely available data, and continuous time series data is available to detect the land use changes, and for all these technology we can track these technologies. You can see here at a watershed, small watershed level to at a global scale. Here you can see at 10 kilometers to less than 1 kilometer data. This is a small watershed which is less than 100 hectares of area, and basin level and river basin level and regional level. You can see all land use, land cover, and also crop type mapping we have done. In the regional scale we have done at 250 meters. In our analysis mainly, initially we are doing at a 250 meter scale, then the key areas we mapped out at higher spatial resolutions. And to do these activities, we have developed standard protocols for the clear methodology. Here you can see. I don't want to go all methodology, but mainly the key methods, two methods I am going to explain now. One is the decision tree algorithm and another one is the class identification and labeling. In decision tree, initially we may not do all this step by step. Decision tree, it will do automatically some of the cropland areas and non-cropland areas, it will segregate. And from that, we separate season wise, like monsoon season and dry season, like that we separate. Later on we classify detail. This will improve the classification, and also the model also will give the correct accurate map out of this. And then class identification labeling, here we are using some of other techniques like bispectral plots, class spectra generation, time series data. It will give the clear indication when it is starting, when it is planting, when it is harvesting, and the middle stage. All these information will give. And with that one, we are also using field plot data, which is ground truth data, intensive survey and prior we have done. That data also we are using for this analysis. And all these outputs also we are comparing with the Google Earth high resolution, 1 meter resolution data, and we are validating it. For example, this is the satellite images, is the time series data. Originally, we are using at every 16-day interval data for our analysis, for all kind of analysis. But here I combined monthly composite with the maximum value composite. The two images, the maximum value, it will give the image. Here, this is the NDVI. Actually, it is value is varying from -1 to +1. But here I scaled up 0 to 1. 0 means there is no crop at all, and 1 is there is a vegetation. Actually, this is one indices I am showing, but we are using 3 indices. One is NDVI, LSWI, and EVI also. 3 indices we are using for our analysis. And second one important thing is the ground truth data, which we have conducted entire prior to the analysis. We are conducting a lot of ground information. In this ground information, specifically, these are the points. Each location we are visiting, and we are taking physical parameters like what is the land use, land cover type, and also interviewing farmers, extension officers also sometimes we interview, and we will get the detailed information at a particular location, also taking photographs. At the same time, whether there is a drought or if there is any problems, that information also we are gathering during our field visits. And in the data set, we are preparing 3 kinds of the data sets. One is for classification, and second one is for validation purpose, and third one is the independent data set, which is not used for both of these two. That third party will assess our map, whether it is how much it is accurate. And here what I am showing here is ideal spectra, which is very important for our analysis. This ideal spectra, it is located in particular location and a homogeneous patch. This signature will give when crop is starting and when is harvesting. This clear information. Based on this information, we are matching this class to, during the classification, we are matching with this class to that all classes. Whenever this class is exactly coincide with the other classes, then automatically it will give to the class identification and name. Here in the similar methodology we have done for entire Africa, which is at 250 meters spatial resolution. But here we may not give all the crops. Here our mandate crops here you can see. So mainly in semi-arid tropics and arid tropics our crops can see. But detailed classification we have done at a country level. For example, recently last year we have conducted intensive ground survey. We did the ground survey in entire Ethiopia, and we have mapped out all major cropland areas and length of, and their length of growing periods also we calculated. And here we concluded is the sorghum area is nearly 2 million hectares of irrigated sorghum area, and also all other land use, land cover, and other dominant classes are shown here. And not only at 250 meter scale, for pilot studies we use high spatial resolution data, IRS and Landsat imagery we are using for this one. This will give the clear each and every crop detail it will give. Also we are using it for temporal data, high resolution temporal data, but it is quite a bit expensive, but that is the reason we are using for only our pilot study sites. In similar way we have done, and this is for Malawi. Last year we have conducted a lot of ground information here, and we mapped out all major crops. Here most of the cropping area is double cropping, intercropping, like maize mixed with sorghum and groundnut mixed with sorghum, all these kind of classes, except some maize, it is the unique crop. Some of the areas they are growing alone. And this is for Tanzania. Tanzania also we have conducted, this is the ground information we have collected, and based on that we mapped all major cropland areas. Here you can see the pigeon pea is mainly located in near the lake, and here it is the mixing with some other sorghum and millet and pigeon pea, a mixed crop, but here it is the unique crop which we have identified. And Malawi just we started, and we have analyzed the initial classification but without ground truth information. This we are planning to validate with the coming season in August. In coming August, we are visiting all these sites, and we refine this map. We can produce the accurate map. This is the basic step, and next we will do how much area is over the period, how much it is changing, and where we can start our interventions, and these maps will play the major role according to that. And also in West Africa, we are also working on Africa region for that project. This is one of the action site. We have already last 7 years they are started interventions. We monitored that area from 1991 to 2014. You can see there is a lot of area is expanded in our mandate crops. Of course, all other sorghum, maize also increased a lot, but our crops also simultaneously increased on these crops. And SICASO recently, this is the one. This is also one of our benchmark study site for Africa Rising project. Here we classified at various scales. First of all, Landsat 30 meters resolution and 250 meters resolution, but still we are just leaving that mixed crops. But after our ground truth validation, and we will refine this map with major crops. Now spatial analysis for the prioritization. Here we developed, this is the method, here we developed the standard methodology for all kinds of prioritization, like identifying the suitable areas and identifying this one, prioritize the watersheds. Here we are using biophysical, technical, socio-economic, eco-environmental factors. Of course, in other than Africa, eco-environmental factors may not influence much, but in African countries, especially this eco-environment also one of the important. So this data is gathering all social scientists, and some of these from social scientists we are extracting, we are taking from them, and most of the biophysical parameters we extracted from satellite imagery, and all existing maps we are using this one. In the second stage we are converting to the geospatial format, and we are giving the scores based on expert knowledge, local expert knowledge. And we are combining all together, and each thematic map we are giving the score and running the model. That resultant map will give the values from 1 to 100, and based on we are segregating 4 to 5 classes, which will give first priority. For example, prioritization will give the first priority to fourth priority. 5 priorities we are giving. In the semi-arid tropics, in the second priority is the majority of the areas. In semi-arid tropics is the second priority. And also you can see some high priority. These priorities, how it will come based on input parameters. The accuracy also depending on input parameters. And if this, and also validated these locations. These are exactly close to the villages and major roads, and those areas is the green patches. Those are first priority, means we can develop these areas primarily, and next second priority areas. In the same way, based on this, we have selected our one of the study site, Adulala in Ethiopia, based on these maps. And similar way, this is the groundwater potential zones. Of course, in previously we are using various biophysical, socio-economic, other factors. But here, for the groundwater potential zones who are directly involving to the groundwater potentials, like geomorphology, geology, and drainage density, land use, land cover, and other parameters we are using. And after this, running this model and getting the output, after that we compared with the intensive field information, borehole data, and more than 6,000 locations conducted by 2 agencies in that study area. And we compared with that one. There was a pretty good correlation and map and that results. And also this is the identifying the suitable areas for a cultivable area. You know, in Africa, in entire Africa, there is a lot of inland valleys were there, but there is not cultivated so far. But we have to identify where it is highly recommendable for cultivation. In that project, we have done this one. In entire study area, 11.4% of total geographical area was recommendable for cultivation. But so far, within that, less than 5% of area is cultivated so far. And then now South Asia, the above methodologies, what I explained in the protocols and the methods and protocols, based on that methodology, so we have mapped out all major croplands in entire South Asia. Here we is compressed this map. Here it may not much detail, but it will give, if you go to the each class wise irrigated triple crop rice like that way. Our mandate crops also here, but is a season wise season wise we have given. This is the first season, second season, and third season like that. And also areas also we have produced out of this one. And specifically in here you can see that clearly our mandate crops like groundnut, our mandate crops for gum, millet, groundnut, pigeon pea, and chickpea, spatial extent across the South Asia. And specifically in groundnut is mainly located in Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat, and this one sorghum is mainly in this one Maharashtra, and millet is mainly in Rajasthan. These areas we mapped out. And of chickpea you can see here across the mainly in Rajasthan, Gujarat, because here this is actually double crop, rabi crop, mainly is growing double crop, it's a rabi crop. Here is the most of the crops, all these crops are mainly in Kharif and late rabi, early rabi, but this is the late rabi crops. And also we mapped out all rice-fallow systems across the South Asia with the ecosystem wise, irrigated, rain-fed upland, rain-fed lowland, rice-fallows. We are altogether we noted in 43 million, that is 43 million hectares of rice area was there. Out of that 4.9 million rain-fed ecosystem rice-fallows, and 3.2 million that was irrigated rice-fallows. This was mapped out, and this also validated with the high resolution sub-district level data. We validated with this one. There was a more than 95% it was correlated, and also we got very good feedback from CRIDA scientists also about this one. And how we have identified this one? This is the mainly 2 indices we have used for this identification. This is the, you know, this is each peak means this is the each crop. This is the monsoon season and summer season there was a crop was there. And then the fallow is during the November to February there was a fallow. At the short duration chickpea is recommended. Chickpea or any grain legumes are recommendable for these areas. And also the cropping intensity. And also, you know, in South Asia there is no possible to expand agriculture, but we can intensify the cropping pattern. We can intensify, for example, single crop to double crop to triple crop. That is possible. But for current situation, this is 2014 and 15 map. According to that, except Bangladesh and some of the parts in India and Pakistan, but most of the area is single crop and double crop. And double crop also mainly is located in northern part of India and some of the parts in South India as well. But there is a lot of potential for expanding, increasing the intensity. And this is the length of growing periods for the Kharif season. This will give that from length of growing the cropping seasons, June to October and June to November and July to, this is mainly important, mainly important for breeders and crop modelers, which already they are using these maps. And also this is for length of growing periods for Rabi season, started from October to February, October to February. Here you can see the cropping areas. And also Rabi, this is the summer starting from February to June. This is the summer crop. And also planting dates also we have quantified using every 8 days data. But here we segregated to combine the classes from June 1st to 30th. These are the areas, mainly majority rain-fed areas they are starting, mainly in northern part of India. Those are starting early sowing, and the southern part is a little bit late, and July and August also sometimes. And this, how we have identified this one, this is this is based on NDVI and LSWI. This is soil wetness index and vegetation index. The exactly starting point. Based on this one, we have quantified planting date and harvesting dates. And then drought also we quantified. We may not say with a 1 year analysis or 2 years analysis, we may not say this is the drought area, this is non-drought area. That's the reason we have done for entire last 11 years analysis, and we combined all this, we integrated all this data, and we have given the flood damage and the severe drought areas we quantified. For example, here you can see in the later part, the drought maps we are taking at the smaller area, we are overlaying that block level information, and we are giving this information to our readers and extension officers to disseminate the technology or to promote the new tolerant varieties for this one. Also similar way, Southeast Asia we have done for, this is for CCAPS project, and we have completed a mapping for entire Myanmar. Here also we mapped out Rice-fallows. Here you can see the Rice-fallows. In previous map, actually we have quantified all ecosystems in a major cropping pattern also we have estimated here. And mainly here you can see in Sagaing and central dry zone, those are the areas already they started cultivating chickpea, but there is a lot of potential to expand chickpea area in these regions. And also in AP, we have major cropland areas we have characterized, we have mapped out for 2001 to 2012 and 2012-13. Now for this is for chickpea expansion. For the chickpea expansion, we compared here for only chickpea, but we during the chickpea mapping, we also mapped for all other major crops as well. This will give only this is the broader aggregated classification. If you go detailed classification, it will give detailed crop type maps, major crops, all 11 crops we have mapped out. And out of this one, this is clearly it is showing where the chickpea was expanded. And this one, this is from 2000 to 2001 and 2012 to 13. Here you can see nearly almost 4 times the area is increased. Initially 168,000 hectares was planted area, and in 2012 and 13, 558,000 hectares was noted. And also this map we validated with mandal level statistics, and there was a nearly 90%, more than 90% it is correlated very well. And also we are contributing for other CRPs, dryland systems. These are the action sites. Originally we have done for entire districts, all these districts, but here I'm showing for action sites, only action sites. And also we have monitored land use land cover over the period since 1988 to till date, and 2014 also we have done recently, but that is not validated. And also other parameters like water harvesting structures also we monitored from since 1988 to till date. Initially there was no water harvesting structures here, but later on, now it is up to 2012 there was nearly 80 water harvesting structures here, and almost 7-8 times increased irrigated areas here compared to 1988 to 2012. Of course, but here some of the farmers they purely depend on boreholes also. That is also will count here, this impact. Also we estimated biomass estimation for entire all these action sites in CRP 1.1. For this one, we have conducted crop cutting experiments throughout the season. Within the season, we have conducted 4 times in a season, and we analyzed the data and we mapped out wet biomass and dry biomass for action sites, all action sites. This is WLE project which we conducted, contributed in WLE. Actually, they want to promote direct seeded rice across the region in Karnataka. There is a lot of labor issues were there, labor shortage. That's the reason the government, the Karnataka government, they wanted to promote direct seeded rice. For that one, existing areas and where we can adopt these technologies. For that purpose, we mapped out. We clearly mapped out where the direct seeded and transplanted rice were mapped. These are all green areas. This is transplanted rice, and red area is the direct seeded rice. This is actually here we analyzed radar sat data because of in cloud contamination is a very severe problem during the monsoon season in this area, in study area. That is the purpose we used radar sat data, temporal radar sat data, and we analyzed and we validated with other optical data. We combined together and we mapped out all these direct seeded rice areas. And also, we have also contributed for our CCAPS project, and this is Lavos project. And for that, initially we mapped out all major cropland areas. This we will refine in this year. Especially specific crop wise, we will validate this one. And these are the conclusions. We mapped out, we developed the standard protocols and methodologies for mapping cropland areas to monitor length of growing period over the period. And tested these methods with the country level and the small scale level we validated, and these both the country level and the small scale level both validated. There was a pretty good correlation. So these methodologies we can scale it up at large scale, like country level or continental level also we can. And also with these data we supported to the not only CRPs and other scientists also, other teams also, we have supported this data already. The next step, right now we have done for only for certain few countries in Africa, but now we extended to all our focal countries, and whole Africa also we are analyzing. At the same time, right now we are semi-automated techniques we have developed, but right now we are looking for automated techniques which will give the immediate quick result and within the cropping season. This will give. And these whatever. And also one of the important thing, whatever we have produced, these geospatial outputs, we have to circulate across the institute also. And we have conducted, last year we have conducted capacity building courses, a couple of capacity building courses in African countries. And this year also we will continue that one. And also at the same time we are collaborating with other CG centers and other research organizations like USGS and ISRO also we are collaborating. And we are working new innovative methods. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Murali. So the objective of today's seminar was to show our colleagues the work that's currently going on and where your work might benefit from some spatial activities and spatial analysis, and also for us to recommend some directions for the GIS group as well. So with that in mind, I'll open up for some questions for Murali. David.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great presentation. Thanks for pulling that together on short notice. For me, I see these tools really helping us with our country strategies and prioritizing the types of traits or new varieties we need to address not just the production side, which you've started to characterize, but also the market side. And that's one area where I don't think the CGR has done a fantastic job in defining market traits. How do you see the platform, the geospatial tools assisting us in defining market opportunities for our mandate crops, especially in Africa, where we have less infrastructure to support the aggregation of raw material?
Yeah, this is
Parts of the question. So one, country strategies. So how do we take these tools and apply them to defining where crops grow and prioritizing at least the agronomic traits?
Yeah.
And the second part is around market traits. And what do we need to do to support that in service of IMOD and a value chain approach?
Yes, this one temporal information, it will give the clear existing patterns and where we can now start our interventions to expand agriculture, which is very important. These results will be helpful a lot.
Maybe the second part of the question is about markets. So how could mapping...
Markets actually, we have already some market, GIS data is available. Some GIS data is available and we can integrate with the spatial maps. And the GIS data we can, I think the GIS.
If I can add that, we have already market accessibility data available spatially. That can be used along with the seed markets, which are already being geo-referenced, especially in some countries like Mali, where Sibiri is already doing that. So we can work on creating accessibility maps based on the size of the population of the in that area, and then look how much time it takes to reach that market. So and integrate this information, that is the trait level information, which we will map with remote sensing, and then see if it really is cost effective to take it to the market, or how it will be useful, or how economical it is. So we have accessibility data also to integrate with the crop level data.
And another thing, we have urban areas, major urban areas we have already mapped out. That information also we can integrate with these crop tech maps. That will give the accessibility.
Maybe I can add a few points on this. So there is spatial and integration with non-spatial data. If we have the spatial data at village level and network of the roads and all the infrastructure, and that we can attach or integrate with the non-spatial data that include the nearness to the market and the infrastructure and all other input markets, so that if you have the quality data, then we can achieve and country strategy and even IMOD for your second question.
In your estimation of rice fallow area, I was impressed to see that you could classify rain-fed rice fallow, irrigated rice fallow. But it raises a question, because you showed very high irrigated rice fallow area. Yes. People have the impression that rice fallow is because it is rain-fed. So how did you classify them as rain-fed rice fallow and irrigated rice fallow?
Yes, this is a good question. Actually, irrigated areas, we have a command areas and non-command areas map already we mapped out. That is, we got it from concerned departments, all command area boundaries. But out of that, and also that is the one point. And second one, we validated all these maps at, you have seen that the way how much points we have collected entire rice growing areas, rice fallow areas. This information came from farmers also, that we both were integrated. Even you can see the rain-fed ecosystem is different and the irrigated ecosystem is different. Their crop, their intensity, crop intensity also it is different. Intensity means growth condition. That will clearly separable in our spectral matching technique.
So, I mean, you seem to be very confident to be able to separate out, I mean, a fairly detailed sort of cropping patterns in a sort of puzzle, because so that means that basically you've got the potential to replace all the FAO data on cropping areas, pretty much worldwide. So, what I would like to know is really how precise you are in determining that, well, this area is planted with sorghum, and this one is planted with sorghum with peanuts, and this one is pearl millet. So, how good the resolution is on
Right now, all these analysis done at 250 meter scale right now, but we are planning to do at a 30 meter scale now, right now. We are already started. We are in the process on that with a collaboration with USGS. Large computing and everything they are doing. We just we got the mega data set which is occupying nearly 20 terabyte of data each season. We are getting from them, and also it is running in their Nexus system. That is a high-end server they are already running. Only output they are sharing with us. We are already in the process analyzing. I don't know how it is will accurate map we will get at that level, but right at present only this level. If you have any smaller area like district wise or one state wise which is possible here, we can do it.
Now, because what I had in mind is if you have indeed that level of precision, to what degree can you start distinguishing even genotypes within a species?
Yes.
And maybe we would like to run a little bit some analysis in the campus here and say, well, okay, here I know that I've planted this or that. So either is it so
that one it may not even these techniques may not be helpful, but hyperspectral data which will help in this regard, because that needs very narrow bands is required. It has 262 bands are there. Already we are working on that, collaborating with USGS. We also recently published a couple of papers on that also. But still that is in experimental stage. Even that hyperspectral data also there are some issues. This is not this is from the satellite, capturing from the satellite and ground sensors. They are not correlating each other. That's the main issues we are facing. But still we are working on that.
Just on Vincent's question, the only example I know is with submergent tolerant rice, where you've introduced one allele to allow flood tolerance, and then through remote sensing you can discriminate those varieties that have the sub 1 gene. That's the only example I know of discriminating varieties using these technologies.
Yeah, we have done that one. When I was in IRI, we have done for eastern part of India.
But there's a disconnect between proximal sensors that sense the hyperspectral characteristics of a crop or a genotype. That's the kind of work that Severi is trying to do with drones at 20 or 30 meters above the crop. And then there's your kind of level of thing, satellite. How do you connect the two? Is there a way of connecting?
Yes, that is the reason. That is what I'm telling. Because in ground sensors and satellite sensor, there is no correlation between that. We tried to build some algorithms, even though we are not accurately captured and linked these two in between. Still, we are sorting the problems. But so far, even USGS or NASA also, no, so far there is no progress, much progress on that.
My question is, we are looking for the yield forecast using your satellite maps. So can you able to supply us the crop maps in 3 steps, like immediately 1 month after the start of the season, or maybe 2 months like that? We need a regular intervals yield maps.
Yes.
So that we can use those yield masks as a crop mask and then simulate potential yield forecast.
Yeah, this is actually, it is possible. You know, in most of the area in South Asia or Africa, in one area is there is a most of the time they are growing similar cropping pattern, unless if they don't get the prices is going down. For example, recently chickpea, the prices were going down. In 2014 and 15 there was a lot of change. Already I discussed with you as well in previously. But it is possible in the prior the season with 2 or 3 images, we have a continuous 15 years data sets are available. With that one, And we can, it is possible to do for a current season as well. Early season we can give it. We can produce that maps.
Murali, I enjoyed your presentation, very good. My question is, do we have any collaboration with the private sector? For example, we know agribusiness companies use a lot of this information to make commercial decisions on. We know companies like Coke, Pepsi, ITC use this information to market accessibility in their existing models. Yeah. So do we have collaborations where we can do some of our country strategies and overlaying crops and markets and go downs and processing facilities, etc. So this is being done by the private sector.
Actually, this is good idea.
Yeah.
This is good idea, but so far we don't have any collaboration with the private agencies. But if you know some agencies, please recommend. Definitely we will collaborate.
All these years that ICRISAT, we have been doing research without much support from this tool. But as you mentioned that you have worked with IRI, so I believe they must have used all these tools in their crop improvement work. So just for my information, I'd like to know how IRI or other crop groups have used this tool in strategizing or prioritizing just 2-3 instances, major outputs. How this tool has helped those crop groups or those institutes?
Yes, actually, IRI actually they are utilizing remote sensing services really very good. I would say at village level blocks, what I showed in Odisha, those kind of maps we have generated for entire northeastern part of India, where lot of submergence and drought was occurred. Those areas, based on remote sensing satellite data, they are disseminating their technologies and village identification. Small sub-district level maps they have taken, overlaying with block level data, and based on this one they circulated a seed and they promoted the technology. And similar thing which is possible in here as well, in ICRISAT as well. Right now, last 1.5 years we produced we analyzed historical last 15 years data, and right now we have appropriate maps are ready now. All our mandate crops you can utilize for coming season also. But the only thing is we don't have for these areas. IRI they have their block level information for their cropping areas, but we don't have block level information for our cropping areas. We have only district level, sub-district level data is available, but not block level data is not available. If some people, if you are much interested on that, you can give some fund or something, then we can digitize it and you can make it available for our analysis at block level also. That is possible. Right now, for AP Bhuchetana project, we are doing for AP some of the districts, but not for all our mandate areas.
With the satellite imagery, you can see the crop area.
Yes, we can see. Yeah.
Increasing or decreasing. But how about the canopy temperatures? I understand they can also be.
Temperatures. I
go through the old literature. If the canopy temperatures are known, you can calculate stress degree days, and then you can at the end of the season you can have some estimate of yields in a particular area. Is it possible to know the crop temperature with satellite during the period of drought?
Thermal data can be useful very much, but and also that is thermal data now it is available at 30 meter scale also. In the Landsat 8 one band is thermal data is available. We can do it, but so far we did not work on that. We did not focus on that. But it is possible.
That will also tell us during the season, where the drought is occurring and when it is occurring. Both spatially.
Actually, we are using thermal data for drought and submergence identification during that abiotic stresses identification map we are using. But those are already existing data we are using for that analysis. But that is very coarse resolution.
Murali,
You have done a lot of work in rice, which is a kind of irrigated and high rainfall kind of crop, and now you are doing rain-fed crops. So when you go for the crop mapping in the rain-fed regions, any crop when we take, the vigor of crop, the biomass of the same crop at the same time is very different. In some places very low, some places very good.
Yeah, that is good
So
question.
it's a big challenge
It's
actually.
a big challenge, yeah.
So how do you address and how far you are able to address that?
Yes. For example, you are asking correct question. That is the reason we are doing it region wise. Suppose we are doing region wise, and also based on this one climate data wise, we are doing separate segmentation. Then we are doing independent classification for those regions. Like that way we are separating, and also we are conducting intensive ground data at that particular location where the changes were mainly changes were occurred based on that.
Sampling, maybe you have to increase.
Yeah, increased.
Manifold.
Yeah, we have increased for those regions.
Yeah, this question is from Amhara.
Yeah.
Murali, it is a very good presentation. You presented an extent of drought maps over years. Is it possible to develop probability of drought occurrence using these time series drought maps, which can be used to assess the drought impacts?
Yes, it is possible. Based on, we can map from this map, from historical drought maps, we can generate drought prone areas, high probability and medium, low probability. These we can characterize, which is already we have done for that analysis as well.
But Murali, just relate to this.
That is related,
Sorry.
This is purely depend on only those 15 years. We are not doing historical data like 30, 40 years.
And there is one more question here. This is from Ermias. Nice presentation, Murali. How can we distinguish whether abiotic or biotic stresses?
Actually, I did not talk about biotic stresses, only abiotic stresses. We are physically in the crop character that we cannot differentiate, because we are using climate data and our satellite images, NDVI, LSWI, these parameter, EVI, these three we are using, and rainfall also we are using. Based on this one, we are analyzing this is drought or this is not drought. But these areas, what about biotic stresses, we are not even working on that area.
Yeah, thank you, Murali, for your nice presentation. Do you have any plan to digitize the ICRISAT map so that we can upload maybe the soil analysis data and the crop history also season-wise?
Actually, our priority is mainly we are focusing on CRPs and this one, because we don't get without request, we may not. Maybe that is possible.
We can do that.
But luckily we got high resolution 1 meter data, so without cost. We got it from USGS free of cost. We got 3 images already. I showed you 0.6 meters resolution data. Yes.
This is from Babu Motagi. Good information. Is it possible to know crop disease severity and yield loss estimates?
Yield loss, maybe Dr. Dakshinamurthy will give the yield, but he is the crop modeler. But intensity based on our analysis, we can give the percentage we can give. If we have a lot of ground information, ground experiments, if we have that information, and we can do it for only for small areas, not bigger areas, which is possible. Huh? Not the grains, yes. That is why in our map also, in our analysis, we are giving severe drought, moderate, mild drought. We are not giving any percentage loss. We are not giving anything. Of course, even though we have collected a lot of information in those drought areas, but we are not mentioning.
Murali, often I'm asking you why you're doing ground truthing missions and driving all over the place. Can you explain why that's necessary?
Yes, this is a
Detail?
yes, yeah. Ground truth is very important. You know, it's a similar crop in different areas. The length of growing periods and even soil. Suppose, for example, in different areas, the same crop is growing, but different soil conditions, and the signature will vary differently. That is the one thing, and also we have to validate. This is the one purpose, and we need to validate after our classification. We need to validate with some intensive ground data. For that purpose, also it is required.
But that's just a step in time. So you've
And
done
also,
an imagery, and
yeah.
you've said there's a crop, chickpeas there. So you drive out and you say, oh, it's chickpea, or
Yes.
it's something else.
Yeah.
Why can't you do that with photographic? Is there
Photographic, and that particular area, we are generating ideal signatures. That ideal signature is located in that particular area only. For example, in district. Even our classification, we are running 250 classes or as many as classes, but it will give the close classes, only uniform classes it will give into the one class. That we compared with the ideal spectra. Of course, it's same crop, the same crop in different cropping pattern. That also we can integrate with this one. Uniform classes it will give very accurately.
Just to add a little bit, as you said, like if you have chickpea in, you let us take Ethiopia. In different provinces you have same chickpea, but you may have different signatures. So these ground truth information, as we travel, collect, and then create the ideal spectra. So these are called the ideal spectra for a particular crop or a region. So these are given as training classes while classifying the satellite imagery. We match each pixel with the profile of the ideal signature and then see if it fits. And then we name it as chickpea in Amhara, Oromio, or somewhere else.
So in other words, what you mean when you told your ideal spectra is let's say wavelength, where if you do ground truthing sort of observation across years, you're always going to find that, well, these spectra characterize, for example, chickpea. Yes, it may vary because I mean a lot of those spectra are influenced by the crop status, the stage. So exactly. One year you say, oh, that's chickpea. Yes, it was chickpea, but then the following year you use the same wavelength, and it doesn't show you something else.
Yeah, that's why ground truth is collected for every year. When you can't use last year's ideal spectra for this year's unless the cropping pattern is very uniform or if it has really changed. So that's why we need extensive ground truth to create this type of crop type maps rather than like generalized land use land cover maps. So that's the whole idea of ground truth, traveling so many thousands of kilometers. So I mean, we basically need at ICRISAT crop type maps, like identify our mandate crops, maybe some varieties. So for such work, we need to have intensive ground truth and then and even high temporal resolution data, which is available only at a resolution of 250 meters at present. But now, recently, Landsat 8 has been launched with a 16-day replicativity. So we make it at a 30-meter resolution, very high temporal resolution data, high spatial resolution data. And ground truth is a must, ground information is a must.
Okay, is there any other questions to finish off? Murali, perhaps you just should introduce your team. They're sitting beside you.
Yes, I would like to. I'm very thankful to our some of the breeders and social scientists also. They are also supporting. Mainly, I want to introduce our team. Irshad Ahmad, Mr. Irshad Ahmad.
Deepika.
And Ismail Rafi.
Good afternoon. She's Deepika.
Yeah, she's Deepika.
Ismail.
Actually, Deepika, she is a radar set expert. Irshad and Ismail GIS specialist. Deepika remote sensing. Deepika and me radar. Yeah, she's mainly expertise in radar. Yeah.
Okay, before closing, actually, I want to ask one question. Can you map successfully at least ICRISAT area so that we will compare whether really your mapping is correct or not? In the crop area, I'm telling you crop area.
No, we have already mapped entire South Asia and validated so many people.
No,
we
I'm
got
asking
very
that ICRISAT crop area map. So that like, where is sorghum, where is chickpea, exactly.
Because then your
Yeah,
ground
it's every year
truth much shorter
varies.
if you drive around the
Then
station.
we are confident.
Huh? Actually, it is varying. Every year it is varying. No? Some same place.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what my question. No, it's if I can like answer,
Yes,
it's a matter of resolution of the data. Initially, we used to have 70 meters data with Landsat 1, and then now we have less than 1 meter spatial resolution maps. I mean, digital imagery available. So certainly we can do that, but for every square kilometer you have to spend $25. So that's one matter which is important, and we have not used much of that, and that is the basic problem with the satellite imagery and the perspective of people towards this geospatial products is they think they are very costly. You have to pay a lot of money, but the amount of information you get from it is really very useful. It's unimaginable. You can say because if you are identifying your crop without going anywhere else, that's nothing like it. But again, it's a matter of economics. You want crop type or variety, you pay money more money. That's it. But for ICRISAT, we can do that. It's not a problem. We can tie up with certain agencies like which are already producing this type of information. Even Google Earth itself is enough for us. You can really see the variation. Because they keep updating every year, or sometimes twice a year. So that's also more helpful. It's possible. We can do that, except for the budget codes.
Okay, thank you very much, Murali and the team for giving this presentation. I think we achieved some of our objectives. We've shown the rest of the team in ICRISAT what you're doing and what's possible for the future. And it's a pretty small team. There's these guys sitting here. There's 1 or 2 technicians in West Africa and East Africa. So hopefully in the longer term we have more to offer. So thanks very much, Murali.
Thank you so much for attention.
Dr. Murali, I would like to appreciate your nice presentation. My question related to planting date map.
Sorry?
Planting date map.
Planting date map.
Planting date map.
Yeah, please ask.
Most farmers, especially in dryland areas, are affected by false start of rainy season. That is resulted from occurrence of long dry spells. In this regard, what criteria have you used to develop planting date map? Do you consider dry spell estimation?
Actually, what we have produced right now, that is the mean of 15 years data set, modest to 50 meters data set. But if you want specific year, that also it is possible that we can do it. Okay? This is the mean of 15 years data set.